Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another action figure review. As today we're going to be taking a look at the 1995 Ninjetti Rangers from the Power Rangers 1995 movie or the Power Rangers Season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where they turned into Ninjetti Rangers. Now you can look at this either or in the situation where you can utilize these from the movie versions where they found Dulcia and the planet where they tried to find their new Ranger powers, or you can use Ninjor from the TV series where they basically reutilize the same scenarios from that and kind of gave them the same exact powers, except in the TV series their faces were covered with more of a ninja-esque style. In the movie you can actually see the main actors within the character fight scenes, which I thought was pretty cool. All these figures do come with, I believe, weapons, but I do not have those, so that's really okay because in the actual movie they did not really use it, and in the series they didn't really use weapons as well. So, and this was around the time where Jason, Trini, and Zach had already left, and they were now introduced to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and take a look at all these Rangers and just see how great they really are. Alright, so up first we're going to be taking a look at the late Jason David Frank, who's also the best Power Ranger of all time, aka Tommy Oliver, as this is the white Ninjetti Ranger. Now this figure is one of those where it has such weird articulation in terms of, yeah, the arms and hands do move and stuff, but it's just the sculpting is just so weird, and I've always hated figures when they looked like such. You know, I understand it's part of the gimmick where if you move this lever right here, moves his hand up and down, which is fine for what it is, but it's just, yeah, I mean, the sculpting, the design of it, the color scheme, all that just came out really well. It's so nicely done, but it's just when you have this one little weird gimmick thing, it just takes away the whole essence and awesomeness of the figure. But overall, the face sculpt is pretty good. Does give you that semi-Tommy look when he now converted to the White Ranger. You can see he has the Falcon Zord emblem right there. And yeah, it's a pretty nice looking Ninjetti Ranger with the gold trims, with the black diamond patterns there, even on the forearms and the legs with the little ninja shoes and the screws on the back and everything. So yeah, a nicely done figure. More of the standard articulation for these two legs and the left arm, but the right arm is just, man, it's so damn annoying. I hate when toy companies do these kinds of things, but I guess I'll let it slide. It does have some nice creases right there, which is pretty good sculpting for the 90s because it shows you that it is like ninja-esque outfits, you know, more of a flappier design to it, so gives you room to like breathe in the figure, which I give them credit for trying this much effort into it. So a job well done. It's a pretty good looking figure, but otherwise I just hate this thing. So it's still good for what it is. So that is Tommy. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the red Ninjetti Ranger as we have Rocky, and this figure looks pretty decent as he does have the power of the ape coin there on his torso, and yeah, the facial expression is pretty good. This is when Rocky had the part in his hair, so you can see the two strands going there on the sides with the hood. Pretty nice. This one is probably more of my favorite articulations within the figure because when you move the gimmick right here, it just kind of moves his hands up and down, like put your hands in the air like you just don't care. And I just like how the power of the ape kind of gives you that gorilla-esque, and yeah, it's pretty cool. The legs are roughly the same with the golden diamond patterns and the golden trims compared to Tommy, how he had the black ones. So yeah, he just gives you more posability, more fighting stances, and that's what I like about it with the white belt as Tommy had the black one. And yeah, the overall aesthetic of it is just really cool for what it is, as he does have one leg facing more down compared to the straightforward left leg, but other than that, it's a pretty good solid figure, and I love how the ape coin is very well intact there as well. So yeah, pretty cool figure, nicely done with some little holes there, which is for the weapons that he comes with, but you know, don't have it and don't care for it. So yeah, it's a pretty decent figure. So that is Rocky. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at one of the coolest Blue Rangers and probably the best Blue Ranger of all time, none other than Billy. And this is the blue Ninjetti Ranger as he transformed into the wolf. As you can see, the power coin on his chest. And this one's a pretty cool looking figure. I mean, I love how the golds do contrast against the blues. The white belt is very nice. No articulation on the legs as well, other than just moving it up and down, and same as Rocky with one leg moving a little more down than the other. He does have more of a straighter arm with surprisingly elbow and other articulations, so definitely when you move the lever up and down gives you that karate chop action. So yes, at least they gave you articulation on one arm, but you know, it's just one of those things where one gimmick doesn't really make the figure pop too well, but it is what it is. The facial expression is pretty good compared to the other Blue Ranger that I have, because this is when Billy actually transformed into a pretty good looking dude without the glasses, started wearing contacts and getting muscles with a cooler hairstyle. But yeah, it doesn't really look like him, but they tried. It's good enough for what it is. And overall, the figure itself is pretty decent, and I like it. So not too much else to say there other than it's a pretty solid looking figure, and it's one of the better gimmicks compared to the other figures so far. So that is Billy. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at Adam, the Black Ninjetti Ranger, and this is a really cool one. I mean, this is the one where in the movie where he was pretty disappointed that he became the frog, as we can see his power coin in the middle, because he went from a really cool Mastodon or the Lion Zord to the frog. So it's a pretty terrible downgrade, but at least Dulcia gave him a kiss in the forehead. So this toy actually does kind of look like Adam, as he did have more of the curlier hairs on the top, which is pretty good. Facial expression, or at least the eyes and eyebrows, came out pretty well. The golds look really nice against the black with the white belt, and yeah, like the little patterns there, and same articulation, whereas his legs you can see more facing down compared to the left leg in a different direction. In here, if you actually move the gimmick, he actually moves his hands left and right, and doesn't really do too much. I guess maybe if you had him, you can hear the ratchet noises right there, the clicks. So if you just kind of give you that frog punching action. So yeah, kind of weird, but I guess it's a little more intact and better than the White Ranger for sure. And yeah, better, more of a standard, standing pose, which I do like. And the back of the figure is mostly decent and fine, but yeah, not too much else to say there. So that is the Black Ninjetti Ranger, Adam. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the Yellow Ninjetti Ranger, aka Aisha, and she uses the power of the bear. And this is an interesting figure because she actually has the white skirt piece on top, whereas the original Yellow Ranger did not have it, as it was a male, so they kind of give it more of a female-esque to it. And you can't really tell the golds contrasting against the yellow because they blend in a little too much, but I guess it's okay. The bear power coin looks pretty good. A minor scratch, which is fine. And this is the cool part, is this figure actually comes with knee articulation, so I'm very happy about that. If all the Rangers had this, it would have just been a 10 out of 10, but a lot of these figures are just hits and misses. She has more of a sculpted, instead of straight arm, she has more of a fisted, folded elbow and a little more straightforward elbow here. The back has this very weird and odd looking red block that's part of her gimmick, which, they could have just colored it yellow. It is what it is, but you press it and she does do a kick, just only on the right leg. So yeah, that's, man, so close. The actual face sculpt is fine, nothing too much there, not too accurate as well, but at least they got the skin tone right. So everything else is pretty normal, but it could have been a little bit better. Kind of slight wonky eyes, but 90s toys can't really do much. So yeah, other than that, you can see the peg for the weapons, and yeah, the gimmick there as well for the side of the leg. So nothing too much else to say other than it's a solid figure, but could have been slightly better, but it's still good for what it is. So that is Aisha, the Yellow Ninjetti Ranger. Alright, and last but not least, we have none other than Kimberly, the Pink Ninjetti Ranger. Now, she uses the power of the crane, as we see here from her power coin, but this figure is interesting to say the least, because you can literally tell how there's different shades of pink. The pink on her hands, her actual ninja mask, and the feet it's all that Pepto-Bismol pink color, whereas the torso, the arm, and the legs are actually a darker strawberry pink. So not sure what's happening there. Maybe the color is starting to discolor, but we can see she does have the female skirt-esque to it for the ninja, and then the facial expression doesn't necessarily look like her. Her eyes are just so big and wide, but the hair at least is fine. Maybe this angle looks a little bit better, not too sure. She has more of a crane-esque look, as she has her arms more straight down, just like her legs, and everything else is normal. She does have a little vibrant pink gimmick there as well, where once you... And unfortunately mine, I don't think it works anymore, so it's kind of useless, but she does kick up and down and her arms do move. And yeah, she does have wrist articulation as well, so I'm sure the gimmick utilizes one of these things. Not sure where it's gonna go, but yeah, it is what it is. So it's pretty loose, doesn't work unfortunately, but that's okay. Other than that, the figure looks pretty decent. It's solid, and it's one of the coolest. You know, she's one of the most beloved Pink Rangers of all time, and probably the best one before Cat came into the picture. So yeah, it's a solid figure nonetheless, and I like how the golds really do contrast against the pinks, which is pretty nice. So other than that, that is Kimberly, the pink Ninjetti Ranger. Alright you guys, so that was my Power Rangers Ninjetti Rangers from the Power Rangers movie or the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV series released by Bandai in 1995. So we have Aisha, Billy, Tommy, Rocky, Kimberly, and Adam. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.